Hello my fellow Auror, this is your Auror Sly here, and welcome back to the Auror Division, a community of Wizarding World's lore keepers, artifact discoveries, and dangerous curiosities. Today, I'm so excited to talk about the most anticipated game of all Harry Potter fandom's history, Hogwarts Legacy. And in this video, I'm going to analyze in detail the entire castle of Hogwarts from the scenes and media that have been released so far. For those of you who don't know, Hogwarts Legacy is a first world RPG set in the Wizarding World in the 1800s. The game will be released globally on February the 7th for those of us who have pre-ordered it, but if you haven't pre-ordered, you're just gonna have to wait 3 more days as the actual global release will happen on February the 10th, 2023. Are you counting the days for this game? Fire. Look, the excitement is real. I cannot wait until I get my hands on this game. And now let's go ahead and analyze Hogwarts Legacy's Hogwarts, well, that was a mouthful, in detail. Now, in order to make things easier, I have decided to divide the castle into different wings: North Wing, West Wing, South Wing, and Quidditch Yard. The North Wing is the area we can most easily identify from the movies. The iconic Grey Hall, Grand Staircase Tower, and Entrance Hall dominate the landscape. We're starting this discussion by talking about the Entrance Hall. This is how most students would enter the castle to access the Great Hall. Now here we have a bronze-like door separating the entrance courtyard to the Entrance Hall. Now I want you to pay attention to the right and to the left of the door. You're gonna see 2 windows. You can see a greenish and orange hue and a tree-like or vine-like design on it. Now take a snapshot of this because this will be used to identify the Entrance Hall soon. Now this is a shot from the inside of the Entrance Hall, and here you can clearly see the tall and thin windows with a bluish and orange hue and a tree-like design in the middle. This further confirms that this is indeed the Entrance Hall. Now this footage is from the leaked video from 2018 when you see the lower part of the Entrance Hall. You see the embracing staircase and the Hogwarts crest right in the middle. Atop the stairs, you will see another platform where students can walk left and right, and what looks to be a door in the middle that I would guess would lead to the Great Hall. Now I confess that the Great Hall seems to be a lot larger than I thought it would be, definitely a lot larger than the movies. If you look very closely at the end of every table, you will see 2 cloths that represent the houses of Hogwarts. The one on the right represents Gryffindor with a lion, and the one on the left represents Ravenclaw with an eagle. This is one of the big changes that happened to the Great Hall. In the movie, you see a straight platform and a straight table where the professors and headmasters sit. But in this game, the platform and the table take a crescent-like shape. What I want you to do also is that if you look at the corners of the picture, you're going to see 2 statues. The lion on the right representing Gryffindor, and the badger on the left representing Hufflepuff. As we reverse the shot, you will see on the right side a clear statue of a snake, and one can only assume on the left will be the one of an eagle, representing all 4 houses in the Great Hall. And here we have the first shot of the Grand Staircase. Very different from the movies. If you're looking for a square room with a bunch of stairs moving around, you're not gonna get it. This one actually makes a lot more sense to me because the Grand Staircase Tower is actually rounded and not squared. So the depictions of the stairs being actually curved makes a lot more sense than the opposite. We can clearly identify this as the Grand Staircase Tower because of, 1, the staircases and the crazy amount of portraits all over the walls. The side towers that you see here atop the Grand Staircase Tower is a location of the headmaster of Hogwarts office. It is here that I believe Professor Black currently resides, as he is the current headmaster of Hogwarts during this game. As we zoom in into the highest peak, you can see that it looks like a veranda. You can also see that there is an outside path that connects the lower deck to the upper deck. Now, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, you got it right. I'm gonna make a mission to go all the way up to that tower and take a beautiful snapshot of the landscape because the view must be absolutely amazing. This is a nice panoramic shot of the north wing of Hogwarts. On the left, you see the entrance courtyard, followed by the entrance hall, the Grey Hall, and then on the right side, you will see in rounded shape the looming Grand Staircase Tower. In the middle, you have the famous viaduct that connect the north wing to the south wing. Now this is a shot from the Hufflepuff Common Room trailer. See the Avatar walking around the hallway and turning right to access the Hufflepuff Common Room. But before that, take a really close look at this little painting here. The painting of fruits or a basket of fruits. According to the book, this is the actual entrance to the kitchens. Now the kitchen itself was actually located underneath the Great Hall. Here on the right side, you see that the elf is on top of one table. And on the right, you see some tables representing the tables above. Now remember, once the food is done, the house elves put them on the table where they're magically transferred to the tables above in the Great Hall. And since we're talking about the kitchen and the girl accessing the Hufflepuff Common Room, you can see that as she bends right, she goes towards the west wing of Hogwarts. And it is here that the Hufflepuff Common Room is located. Now in this video, I'm really not going to talk about the common rooms in detail, but I am going to point out a few things. According to the books, when you enter the Hufflepuff Common Room, you're supposed to have a slide of sorts. And I think I see a slide there, but I'm not quite sure. I really hope it's a slide because it'll make the entrance correct and just a lot of fun. Now, in the West Wing's dungeon, we're also going to have access to the Slytherin Common Room. And I really love what Avalanche did here with this entrance. I mean, absolutely beautiful with the snake revealing the door. Absolutely gorgeous. Also, if you look at the doors themselves, you see that these snake depictions actually look like two asses facing each other. Kind of a curiosity nugget there. Here we have the West Wing courtyard. This is inside of the West Wing, right in the middle. We can see the statue of a dragon and some windows, but nothing really too visible. And in this shot, we see the Avatar approaching the West Wing from the backside of Hogwarts. On the right, you'll see the Broken Bridge, the Clock Tower, the Gryffindor Common Room Towers, and the Ravenclaw Tower, and the Infirmary Ring connected to the Clock Tower. Here we have the Clock Tower that was first shown in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban movie. It was a great addition. And here we have the interior of the Clock Tower. You can tell by the swinging pendulum that goes from left to right on the top right of the screen, as our companion Sebastian Sallow help us to fight some other fellow students? I don't know. Now zoomed in, we have the Gryffindor Common Room Towers. And I want you to note the shape of these towers. On the far side, you have a smaller rounded tower that is followed by a straight wall that connects to a much larger tower. Here we have the long hallway that leads up to the Gryffindor Common Room on the 7th floor, and I really do enjoy what they did here, which follows the book to a T. You have the long hallway on the 7th floor that leads to the fat lady, and she is indeed wearing pink, which is exactly what she looks like on the books. I also love the fact that they respected and added the entrance as a little hole, and that is exactly how it is depicted in the books. Now, like most common rooms, this game actually increases the size of these rooms exponentially. And here we can really identify what I was talking about earlier. On the right side, you see a rounded shape of a tower followed by a straight wall and another round shape on the left, thus confirming the Gryffindor room's location. Also, it is important to know that this specific tower was actually the Gryffindor Common Room in all of the movies as well. Now, on the front right of the West Wing, you see the Ravenclaw Common Room Tower. Here we have Ravenclaw students going up the steps after answering the puzzle. Now, it is cool to note that if you look over to the left, you will see two students sitting. That's probably because they couldn't solve the puzzle. As a student enters the Ravenclaw Common Room, you're presented with three different sections. We have a big rounded section, a straight section, and then another rounded section, depicting a tower connected with a hallway to another tower. And as we zoom in, we can see the connecting point between these towers are actually staircases. There's a reason. Here we have the top area of the Ravenclaw Common Room, this very wide and circular area with a chandelier of sorts adorned with these drapes that go down to the floor below. And you can see that the window shapes really do match the upper side of this tower. But you can say, but Sly, I also saw this glass dome atop the ceiling. Yes, that is correct, but you also saw that further down the room, a spiral staircase that goes up. And I believe it goes up to this observatory. Here we have a nice shot of the infirmary room that is connected to the clock tower, and also the prefect's bathroom that is on the 4th floor. Now the south wing is where I believe where the library and most of the classrooms are located. Here we have an intriguing shot of the entrance to the south wing connected by the viaduct that connects the north and the south wing. This is the door of the south wing. Now I want you to pay attention to the windows. And to the right and to the left of them, on the lower area, you will see an additional 3 windows on each side. Above the door in this scene, you clearly see 3 large windows, and below them to the right and to the left, you see an additional 3 windows on each side. And this 100% fits the picture we showed earlier. Now there is a room that I could not locate. This is a very interesting room. The architecture is very different. The color palette is very different. I did notice some curious things about it, such as this evil man's face on the glass mosaic. Is it Merlin? This is the outside shot of what they call the Grand Galleria of Hogwarts, and I believe that that's where that room is located. On one of the trailers, you also see this shot where you watch a student walking around a marble floor. And if you look closely at the walls, you will see that the color palette and design very much match that previous unknown room we were talking about. Here we have the Divination Tower. It is located in a relatively small circular tower. You can see that there are drapes that cover the windows. According to this picture, we see at least 2 windows, one in front of us at 12 o'clock and the other one at 9 o'clock. And to the right, you will see this sort of alcove that indicates a potential outside smaller tower connected to this bigger tower. Also, look at the window design. It's very small and it's parted in the middle. Now, on the very left side of the south tower, I saw this specific tower that actually fits the bill. We have a tower that is connected to a smaller tower with a window that has a division in the middle, matching the window inside. Now, I also believe the library is located in the south wing. However, I can't 100% confirm its actual location. I tried to zoom in many times on the windows, on the shades, on the lighting, everything, but this one remains a puzzle. All I know is that the room is very large. There is also a 2nd floor, and I assume is on this building over here. And the only thing that I'm using to create this assumption are the number of windows together, because in the library, all of the bookshelves were actually divided by windows that would provide light to the readers. I confess the Transfiguration Courtyard was the easiest one to identify. Why? Because it looks exactly like in the movies, except the addition of this cool dragon statue in the middle. But you can definitely see the outside lighting that reflects this entire open space, and the Transfiguration Courtyard is actually located between this taller tower and the Defense Against the Dark Arts tower. It is an area where Harry, Ron, and Hermione used a lot to study in the movies and in the books. In this shot, even though it's a little bit dark, you can actually see that there is an opening between the south wing and the Defense Against the Dark Arts tower. And this is where the Transfiguration Courtyard is located. And here we have a potential teacher transfiguring an easel into a dummy. Now I want you to note the globe on this picture at the far corner, and the windows atop it, and the styles of the table. Here we have 2 students transfiguring different things. One is transfiguring some sort of object into an hourglass, and the other an owl into a book. The Charms classroom is really average size. It's not very big, it's not very long, and there is this massive window behind the professor. So that's when my search began. A square room with a large window with the opposite sides with no windows. You can also see that the professor comes down on the stairs, which tells me that this is a very tall room. This is the back side of the room, indicating no other windows or permanent shapes that we can easily identify on the outside. Due to the lack of outside structures, this room's location still is a mystery. The Defense Against the Dark Arts room is located in a very long room with 4 main tall windows adorning its walls. Now, historically, throughout the movies, the Defense Against the Dark Arts room is located at the Defense Against the Dark Arts tower. Well, that makes sense. However, as you can see, this tower is very tall, and unfortunately, I was not able to precisely identify the location of this room. We do know that connected to the Defense Against the Dark Arts Tower, we have the Astronomy Tower, one of the highest peaks of Hogwarts. Now, I believe, like all of the other classrooms, the Potions classroom is actually located in the dungeons of the South Wing. Not much can really be said about it, except the fact that there are windows to the outside, meaning I don't think it's actually that far underground. But I do think that the way into the dungeons is through the South Wing complex. In Hogwarts Legacy, the herbology section is absolutely massive. It almost looks like a vivarium, where we have this one very large greenhouse connecting to smaller greenhouses around it. And you can see that the Avatar goes to meet the professor of herbology for the first time in one of these smaller greenhouses. A little note here, the tower that connects the South Wing to the greenhouses actually has this beautiful window with a tree-like design on it. It's absolutely beautiful. And in this shot, you can clearly see the different levels of the greenhouse and how massive it truly is. Now, just compare it to the size of the castle itself. And if you ask me, that means they were probably going to be spending a lot of time there. Otherwise, the devs wouldn't have created such a massive space for nothing. Here we see the Avatar walking to classroom 11, but I want you to pay attention to the right side. As you can see, the greenhouse continues, and it opens up to this very large dome. And I believe that this dome is this one located on the outside. Now, taking a look inside of the greenhouse itself, you're gonna see the working tables in the middle and a podium of sorts where the professor stands as she gives a lecture. Now, I believe that the History of Magic classroom is actually located closer to the inner side of the Transfiguration Courtyard. And since we have limited shots of the Transfiguration Courtyard, I was unable to exactly place this location on the map. But I am fairly confident it is in fact in that area. Now, this is one of the things I am most excited about. The grounds of Hogwarts look absolutely massive and full of content. Now, we all know that Quidditch is not currently playable. However, I do hope for some potential DLCs. But it is here that we find the South Entrance Courtyard, the Quidditch Pitch Yard, and the Owlery. Now, this is the South Wing's Courtyard. Hogwarts Legacy created this entire area anew, which quite frankly, I really do enjoy it, because in the movies, it was just a bunch of open grass and some ruins and nothing really going on. I really do like what they did here by adding this beautiful Victorian-like garden and a fountain in the middle. Just absolutely beautiful. It is also a great place for us to just sit down and just take in our surroundings, because let's face it, this is what this game is going to be all about. At the distance, you'll see some trees, and at the bottom of the trees, you can actually see the caretaker's hut for the first time. And atop the caretaker's hut, you see the Owlery. Now, this is another picture of the South Wing's courtyard. As our flight professor takes over the scene, you can see on the right side the South Wing's courtyard's exit building, thus confirming this is indeed in the South Wing's courtyard. Now, I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this, but am I the only one who noticed a green dragon trying to chase this professor? Now, further in the distance, once again, we have the much taller Owlery. And in this art here, you can see in this foggy day, the hills surrounding the Owlery. Here we have the zigzagging path that connects the South Wing's courtyard to the Owlery. And that brings us to the end of this video. And look, I'm just crazy excited about this game, I'm not gonna lie. Every day I'm counting the days, it's taken over my life. But I just want to take a moment to thank all of the creators out there talking about Hogwarts Legacy and providing amazing content to all of us. It is with videos like this that I just wish to become part of this community and add a little bit of Lumos in your life. To the people of Avalanche, well done. amazing job. Keep up the good work. And as a Harry Potter fan and content creator, I can tell you guys have done justice to this world. Do you want to learn more about Hogwarts Legacy? Don't worry, more content this way comes. And if you have any questions about the Wizarding World lore, artifacts discovery, and dangerous curiosity, please don't forget to make a comment down below. You want to join your division community? That's easy. Just follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch to advise the ministry you want more content. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button to advise the ministry you want to watch more content. Thank you so much for being part of the Aura Division. And until next time, mischief managed.